From the outside, Meghan Markle spent years wrapped in glamour, applause, and carefully curated smiles. But behind the polished photos and perfectly timed waves, there were moments. Sharp, awkward, uncomfortable moments that cameras caught before the palace machine could smooth them away. Moments that refused to disappear. Moments people still argue about, rewind, slow down, and dissect frame by frame. And once you see them stacked together one after another, it becomes impossible to ignore the pattern. Meghan Markle has lived in the spotlight for years, but not every moment was palace approved. From cold stares to sharp cutting remarks, these are the moments the Duchess of Sussex was caught on camera, exposing what the royal script tried to hide, showing her less than polite side before these moments disappear. Make sure you catch every second because these clips left everyone talking. No more delay, let's begin. The Nigeria incident was the first crack that sent shockwaves across social media. During Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's visit to Nigeria, what was meant to be a warm school engagement suddenly turned icy. A teacher was speaking, explaining, welcoming, and Meghan turned away. Not subtly, not politely. She physically disengaged while the woman was still talking. But witnesses later claimed she appeared bored, distracted, completely disconnected from the people standing right in front of her. Then came the moment that ignited everything. The clip where Meghan appears to say, "Don't talk to me." Whether whispered or snapped, the words hit hard. Online, people didn't see confusion, they saw entitlement. Royal biographer Angela Levin didn't hold back either, calling the interaction phony and awful. Defenders rushed in, insisting context was missing. Critics doubled down, saying context didn't excuse body language that cold. But then came the moment that stunned even longtime watchers. Meghan's stare at her own mother. During a public event as Meghan was speaking, Doria Ragland suddenly jumped in. The shift was instant. The eyes widened. The head snapped. The frozen smile screamed irritation. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't brief. It lingered long enough for viewers to feel the tension through the screen. The message seemed clear. The spotlight wasn't meant to be shared. Not even with her own mother. The Fiji market tour was next, and it was supposed to be picture perfect. Meghan in a bright pink dress, smiling, waving, soaking in the crowd, but the camera caught something else. A split second where the smile dropped. Her lips curled. A hiss appeared to escape. A sneer that lasted only a heartbeat but said everything critics had been claiming for years. Later reports claimed a man involved was left in tears. 1 second was all it took to undo an entire PR image. Then came the Invictus Games moment that nearly exploded into a diplomatic nightmare. Meghan walked straight up to the Colombian vice president's husband, leaning close, touching his back, smiling far too comfortably. Viewers watched as Francia Marquez sensed something was off and spun around. For a moment, everything froze. Then Harry stepped in, hands raised, shutting it down before cameras caught more than they already had. It was awkward. It was tense. And it fueled claims that Meghan always needed to command attention no matter the setting. Royal protocol violations followed her like a shadow. Crossing her legs at the knee in front of Queen Elizabeth II wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a break from decades of tradition. Royal women were taught the Duchess slant for a reason. Princess Diana followed it, Kate Middleton followed it, Meghan didn't. Supporters called it modern, critics called it defiance. Then there was the Polo Trophy moment in Florida. Cameras flashing. Celebration underway. Meghan reached for a teammate's trophy box. The player pulled it back. She ducked under arms just to stay in frame. For many watching, it felt less like support and more like intrusion. Another moment where someone else's achievement became her backdrop. The car incident with Queen Elizabeth II deepened the narrative. Royal rules were clear. The monarch always goes first. Yet Meghan hesitated, stepped forward, froze. The Queen motioned her inside, smoothing over an awkward pause that never should have existed. Critics saw confusion, others saw entitlement. Either way, the moment lingered. Then came the elbow, a subtle nudge to move past a man blocking her way. Small? Maybe, but in royal circles, nothing is small. Critics labeled it impatience, pushiness, another breach of decorum. The Canucks hockey game sparked outrage of a different kind. Autism Acceptance Night. An autistic singer performing the national anthem. The camera cut to Meghan smiling, smirking, laughing, while Harry stood stone-faced. For many, that clip crossed a line that couldn't be explained away. The Platinum Jubilee sealed the public divide. side. As Kate entered St. Paul's Cathedral with Prince William, Meghan looked away. No nod, no smile, just cold distance. The Jubilee was meant to honor Queen Elizabeth II, yet the tension between the women pulled focus instantly. Then came the hand-swatting clip. Meghan appearing to scold Harry on camera. Viewers called it controlling, dismissive, embarrassing. Supporters said it was nothing. Critics said it was everything. At the charity polo match, things escalated again. Meghan gestured for Dr. Sophie Shandaka to move away from Harry during the photo op. A power move caught in HD. A charity chair displaced for positioning. The optics were brutal. Trooping the couloir followed, jets overhead, cameras rolling. Meghan turned her back to chat. Harry corrected her. Another rule broken. Another clip dissected. Moments with children painted an even harsher picture. Tight jaw, narrowed eyes, visible impatience. Rwanda. 2019 events. Critics questioned the contrast between humanitarian branding and body language that suggested annoyance. The Jamaican wedding incident with the waiter reignited accusations of classism. Meghan waved him off, didn't acknowledge him. Social media exploded, especially given her public identity and advocacy. The walkabout with Kate showed another cold nod, another overshadowing moment, another claim of entitlement. Then the wedding day itself. A staff member reached to help. Meghan brushed the hand away, impatience written across her face. A fairy tale cracked before it even settled. The garden party with King Charles III and Queen Camilla sparked one of the most explosive claims yet. Lady Colin Campbell alleged Meghan deliberately stuck out her tongue at Camilla. Bored, restless, eager to leave. Harry stepping in again. The self-clapping moment sealed the image for critics. Applauding herself, smiling wide, cameras rolling, an awkward silence filling the space. And finally, the curtsy story. Meghan reenacting her first meeting with Queen Elizabeth II. Laughing, exaggerating. For some, it was humor. For others, it was disrespect wrapped in a smile. All these moments together formed a narrative no PR team could erase. Whether misunderstood, misread, or exactly what critics claim, one thing is undeniable. Every move was watched, replayed, and remembered. And once the clips exist, they never truly disappear. And when people thought there were no clips left to shock them, one final story resurfaced that made even longtime royal watchers pause. The moment Meghan Markle herself described how she met Queen Elizabeth II for the first time. Not through leaked footage, not through paparazzi stills, but through her own reenactment. She laughed. She exaggerated. She performed a deep, almost theatrical curtsy, joking about how she didn't realize how serious it was. For some viewers, it was harmless humor. For others, it felt like mockery wrapped in charm. Meeting the monarch isn't just another introduction. It's history, it's weight, it's tradition that stretches back generations. And watching Meghan casually reenact it, smiling and laughing, struck many as the final confirmation that she never truly grasped or respected what she had stepped into. Supporters rushed in, saying she was nervous, overwhelmed, out of her depth. Critics countered that nervousness doesn't explain the tone, doesn't explain the laughter, doesn't explain why, years later, she would recount the moment with such lightness when millions viewed it as sacred. And once again, the divide widened. By this point, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Not one clip, not two, but dozens. Different countries, different events, different people, teachers, staff, children, waiters, diplomats, family members, even her own husband. The same underlying criticism followed every incident. Impatience, entitlement, control, a hunger to dominate the moment no matter where she was or who stood beside her. And that's why these clips never fade. Because taken alone, each moment can be defended. A bad angle, a misunderstood gesture, a second taken out of context. But stacked together, they tell a different story. One of friction, of repeated discomfort, of someone who seemed to struggle with the idea of not being the center of the frame. This is why public opinion never truly settled, why debates still rage in comment sections years later, why some see Meghan Markle as misunderstood and unfairly targeted, while others see her as exactly who these clips reveal her to be. Cameras don't lie, but they also don't explain. And in the silence between frames, people fill in the gaps with their own conclusions. What makes it even more striking is how these these moments contrast with what the royal role demands: humility, patience, restraint, the ability to fade into the background when the moment isn't about you. Again and again, critics argue that Meghan struggled with that restraint, that the spotlight wasn't something she could share even when protocol demanded it. And when she left royal life, these clips didn't disappear. They followed her, resurfaced, replayed, reframed. Each time her name trended, someone dug them up again. Nigeria, Fiji, Jubilee, polo fields, garden parties, weddings, anthems, curtsies, all stitched together into a montage that shaped her public image more powerfully than any interview ever could. In the end, this isn't about whether Meghan Markle is good or bad, it's about perception. And perception is built on moments. Moments caught in high definition. Moments slowed down, zoomed in, debated endlessly. Once they exist, they become permanent. And no amount of explanation can erase the feeling they leave behind. That's why people are still watching, still arguing, still replaying every second. Because these weren't just slips, they were glimpses. And for many, they answered the question they'd been asking all along. Was this someone who could truly live within the rigid, unforgiving world of royalty? Or was she always destined to collide with it? The cameras were rolling, the world was watching, and once the clips were out, there was no putting them back. There was no putting them back. There was no putting them back. There was